They hadn't planned anything scary that night. 4 friends who had known each other since childhood: Neil, Amanda, Sarah, and Trevor. A rainy August day melted into a warm, thick night filled with the smells of grass and gasoline. Neil, as always, craved adventure. His old pickup rattled along the highway, headlights flickering across the road. The speakers spat static instead of music. Late-night radio, more noise than words. Somewhere in the haze of sports scores and weather alerts, a flat voice said, "If you're traveling through Texas, avoid the area near Old Alton Bridge in Denton County. Residents continue to report sightings of a creature known as the Goatman. If you see him, do not approach the bridge, and do not answer a voice that sounds familiar." Amanda nearly choked on her energy drink. Great, Goatman, perfect midnight entertainment. Trevor grinned. Come on, local sweary haunts that bridge. Let's check it out. Sarah rolled her eyes. Or we could not do that. Neil only laughed and pressed the gas a little harder. What's life without a legend? We'll look, we'll laugh, we'll leave. No one stopped him. Old Alton Bridge was 15 miles away. The blacktop ended where the forest began. The dirt track twisted between pines, puddles blinking in the headlights like eyes. Fog slid out of the lowlands, milky and thick. Neil slowed down. GPS gave up. Of course it did. Dead signal, dead air, dead us. Trevor held up his phone, filming anyway. If we vanish, maybe the cloud will keep the footage. Nobody laughed. The trees thinned and an iron arch emerged ahead, black, laced with rust. Old Alton Bridge spanned Hickory Creek like a carcass of metal bones. No wind, no sound of water, only fog stretched across it like cloth. Beautiful, she whispered. Horrible, Trevor answered and turned on his light. Stepping out, they smelled iron and damp wood. Somewhere in the trees, something bleated. Deep, broken, half human. Seriously? Asked Amanda, trying to smile. Neil shrugged. Maybe it's our celebrity host. Their shoes clanked on steel plates. The echo rolled ahead and then came back, altered, as if someone else was crossing too. Sarah noticed scratched letters on a beam. O.W. 1938. The farmer? She asked. Yeah, Oscar Washer. According to the story, people dragged him here, hanged him, and said the devil gave him horns. And you read this where? Reddit, Night Shift Research. Trevor was about to mock him when click, click, distinct sounds of hooves echoed through the mist. He leaned over the railing. The water below didn't move, but glimmered yellow. Probably a deer, Trevor said, though his voice cracked. Ever get the feeling this is a bad idea? Amanda muttered. Constantly. That's why it's fun. Another bleat, louder, closer. That was right behind us, Sarah breathed. Neil lifted a hand for silence. The bridge hummed beneath their feet. Far ahead, 2 tiny red sparks floated in the vapor. Not reflections, not flashlights. Eyes. I see something, Amanda whispered. A figure stood at the opposite end, taller than any man, broad-shouldered, horns curving upward, unmoving. Click. 1 step. Back to the truck, Neil shouted. They ran, feet slipping on wet iron. Behind them, hooves struck the bridge, heavy but uneven, like something walking to a rhythm no human knew. Trevor risked a glance. The creature moved beside the bridge, level with them, slightly above the surface, its horns glowing faintly through the mist. Oh God, it's real! His phone light blinked out. Give back my goats, whispered a cold, metallic voice inside their heads. Sarah stumbled. Amanda grabbed her wrist. Her fingers felt frozen, lifeless. The bridge groaned. Steam hissed from below, humid, sweet, iron in scent. Amanda bolted forward and vanished as the plank gave way. Her scream spiraled down the dark. Neil threw himself to the hole's edge. "Amanda!" Deep below, a red glow pulsed once like an underwater flame, then died.
3 of them. Sarah trembling, Trevor gripping her shoulder, Neil sweeping his fading light. "She left me alone," a woman's voice called from under the bridge. "That's Amanda," Sarah gasped. "No, it isn't," Neil said. "Help me," the voice cried softly. "I'm cold." Footsteps rose from beneath the steel. Mist thickened, shaping itself into forms, first Amanda's outline, then a larger one behind her, horns brushing the trusses. Something warm and coarse touched Sarah's shoulder, fur, breath. "Do you hear him?" whispered the mimic beside her in Amanda's tone. "He wants us all." "Run!" Neil barked. They burst from the bridge into trees drenched in fog. Branches clawed their faces. At the truck, Neil fumbled the keys. The ignition clicked dead. Nothing. Lights out. "Come on!" he shouted. All around came a chorus of goat cries, dozens merging into a rhythm like drum beats of hoofs. Clack, 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 clack. "Where are they?" Sarah sobbed. "From nowhere," whispered Trevor, staring into darkness. Behind them, the rear lights flickered on by themselves, throwing the bridge into view. The Goatman stood on the center beam, half lit by red glow. Chains hung from his arms, his eyes shone bright as molten glass. He lifted his head, and the sound that tore out was a roar and a groan in one, metal screaming. The truck rattled, the horn blared once and died. Sarah clutched a cross at her neck, words stumbling from her lips. Trevor's face went blank. "I should talk to him," he murmured, and opened the door. "Don't!" Neil yelled. Too late. 2 steps. He vanished into fog. No scream, only a harsh exhale, half snort, half sigh. Neil hit the steering wheel. "Please, run!" The engine coughed, smoked, quit. Sarah turned slowly. The fog behind the truck moved, bulging outward. Something walked within it. Dozens of shapes with horns, advancing like a slow herd. "Why did you come back to my bridge?" rumbled the voice, everywhere, nowhere. "I tended my herd. Men came with fire. They took, they laughed. The bridge remembers, so does the water. You are them." Sarah screamed, pressing both hands to her ears. Neil grabbed a small hunting knife, the only thing near. 2 enormous prints pressed onto the windshield from outside, long, cleft. The glass cracked downward. He slammed the gas. The engine roared alive. The pickup leapt forward, tearing through the fog. The dirt road stretched like a black cord ahead. Fog chased them, claws of gray reaching through broken windows. Behind, hoofs struck iron and earth alike. Their rhythm echoed in Neil's spine. "Keep driving!" Sarah shouted. He didn't answer, jaw locked, eyes wide and dry. A shape ran beside the truck, pacing the speed. Its head turned once, goat-like, eyes burning not with light, but with memory. Then, lights ahead. They burst onto highway asphalt. A small gas station shimmered through the mist, its sign humming yellow. He slammed the brakes. The truck spun half sideways, stopped. The engine sputtered, but held. He stumbled out into fluorescent light that smelled of diesel and moths. Safety, reality. He turned to the passenger seat. Sarah stared forward, unmoving. "We made it," he whispered. No answer. "We're alive, Sarah. Hear me!" Stillness. He walked around the truck. The seat was empty, the belt loose, wet patches glistening where she'd been. Under the truck, the pavement was printed with hoofs, deep, shining, perfect. They pointed back towards the forest. At dawn, police found the pickup truck by the gas pump, keys in, engine cold. No Neil, no Sarah, no Trevor, no Amanda. Inside, damp air, dust, and silence. A mechanic swore later the radio hissed once, though it had no power. He wants you to listen to the hoofs. At the old Alton Bridge, investigators found footprints, human and hoofed, melded together in confusion. In the center, carved with a knife, "My goats returned." They say if you stop near the bridge at midnight, you'll hear faint bleeding first, then slow hoofbeats upon steel. Look into the water, and you might see faces moving below, faces that look familiar. Sometimes 4 shapes appear in the fog, 2 walking side by side, 1 trailing, and 1 tall figure standing between them, standing guard. The bridge creaks. Far away, the sound repeats. Clack, clack, reminding anyone who listens that some legends never die. They simply wait for laughter to start again.